Here's a look at my recently cleaned, but still very much a mess, fish room. Unfortunately, I don't have a basement in this house. At the time when I bought it, I didn't really think I needed it. I figured this room would be good enough for a frag tank and a quarantine tank, but it's slowly ballooned into all of this. This was very much unplanned, but I think I've made the most out of this space, and while it is somewhat disorganized, it's generally safe at least. I have vinyl flooring, the electrical is good, and I have a dehumidifier running 24/7. I have this weird short tank here. This is actually something I got used, which I think was probably homemade. It just houses some of my maroons that actually should be culled. I keep them primarily for frogfish food. Let's see. That one you can see has a weird head and some flared gills. These ones all have issues. These ones, however, don't have issues. These are my nice, ready for sale guys. There's all kinds of patterns in here. This is a 56-gallon tank, which actually came with a Synergy overflow box, which is worth more than the tank itself. Since there's no LFS nearby, I've basically just cobbled together whatever I could find. I have my Rotifer cultures here, and while it's not quite ideal, I do have some air line running across the room. And yes, the electrical does need to be cleaned up still. This sump is, I believe, a 33-gallon tank. It houses the Red Sea 600 skimmer. I like this one because of the manual turning thing, so I can go about 2 weeks without cleaning it instead of every week. There's even clownfish in here as well. This 20-gallon long houses the almost ready for sale maroons. They're probably 1.5 inches or so. Again, lots of different patterns. This is plumbed together with this tank. This setup here was kind of just emergency use. It's still winter here, so I don't really want to be outside cutting wood. I had this little desk that was originally for fragging, which now houses a few tanks. This 5-gallon tank is plumbed into the clownfish system, and these are just little babies. Over here, I have baby Bengai cardinals, and there's a few ocellaris in here which are just helping them learn to eat pellets as food. This is just a 2-gallon cube, not plumbed into anything. There is plumbing, but it's not in use. And then another 5-gallon tank with a few baby maroons. Another 10-gallon tank with more maroons. This is plumbed into the main system. I just use vinyl tubing because it's cheap and easy. This tank is currently empty. I just got some Kato in here since the phosphates in the clownfish system are over 2.5. That's as high as my meter goes, so who knows what it actually is. I have some apex pods culture in here in a little tank. My phytoplankton cultures, which is Nanochloropsis and Tetraselmis. I currently don't have Isochrysis, which I need to get. This tank here is a 24-gallon or so tank. It's another weird one. It's basically a 20-gallon long, but it's 14 inches front to back. So this houses some of my frags, and I have a mated pair of Bengai cardinals. My main frag tank is the 50-gallon lowboy. Coincidentally, the lights just came on. There's some more maroons in here and most of my frags. The sump is just a 55-gallon with random junk in it and tons of legitimate live rock. There's no skimmer or anything on this system. The phosphates do get a little bit high only because there's a lot of fish in here. This area here is 3 tanks on a stand. They are not plumbed, but this one has maroon clownfish larvae. This one has ocellaris, both storm and regular. And then this weird tank here is a 20-gallon extra tall. This is my first batch of orange storms and regular ocellaris. They're looking quite good. And on top I just have a Tigger Pod culture. which I've been using to feed the baby banguys. And surprisingly, there's still quite a few pods in here. Over here, I've got my 10-gallon Nano Reef. Yes, it's a mess with cyanobacteria, but I'm feeding these guys 4, 5, 6 times a day, so obviously there are some nutrient issues. And hopefully they'll be laying eggs later today. Of course, one more tank with just a few Maroons. Sometimes I use these 5-gallon tanks for any small clutches or other random fish. And then I've been also hatching baby brine every day for the banguys primarily, but I give some to the clownfish as well. So yeah, I mean, there's some mess still, but generally this is relatively clean. There is a dehumidifier right next to the door, which is blocked by tanks. It runs 24/7 and removes about 5 gallons of water every 2 days. I do get a tiny bit of condensation on the window, but it's not too bad. There were actually more moisture problems here before the fish. With the dehumidifier running and the fact that I'm in here many times a day means that it's pretty good as far as monitoring the moisture levels. I'm not really sure why I'm making this video. I like that it's clean in here, but I'm still kind of like, oh my god, this is the space I'm working with. It is somewhat of a disaster, but it's somewhat organized too. Hopefully one day I'll look back on this and be like, wow, I can't believe I used this room, and now look. If you have any constructive criticism, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.